Mart TV. Had a few requests in on the website to give some people a bit more information on the scope I put on my Tikka T1X. It's a Discovery HD 4-24x50 SFIR. Discovery Optics make it, and in the past in shooting sports, Mark Camacho has done quite a few reviews on some of the various models, more for the airgun shooter. Well, I assume that, as I'm more of a firearms shooter. But Discovery sent me this sort of with a comment about, see how it works on full-bore rifles. I was initially a little bit dubious because you do get this awful thing where some think airgun scopes, firearm scopes, they're different. Well, really they're not. They're the same thing. It's just the features that might change. So I've had this on my 6.5 Creedmoor and it's worked very well. It's quite a big optic, not my usual choice, I must say. I don't usually have many sort of longer range varmint scopes, that's not what I do. However, when I bought the T1X, I wanted a sort of reasonably high mag scope with dialable turrets, first focal plane and a useful reticle. And this has been hanging around the office for about a year after review. And I put it on purely out of interest and I just fell in love with it. It's absolutely brilliant. So, without further ado, let's look at some of the features. Discovery's got a 34mm body tube, one piece, which is quite nice. A fitting objective, so you've got a nice bit of glass there, but it's not too deep. As you can see, there's a generous bit of mounting there, even with the standard rings they issue, which are actually pretty good. Okay, from the back, you've got fast focus eyepiece, quite common these days. Your mag ring is angular slotted for grip, and it has a raised blade. I wouldn't mind a little bit more there, like a throw lever, but again, that's just a little comment, nothing serious. Nice big saddle. Turrets are what I call tactical precision types, and they're both lockable, which is great. Usually you get an elevation turret that locks and the windage doesn't, but having both is much better. They just pull up like that, you dials reasonably easily, and just push down and you're locked. If you look at this, there's a bar at the top, which just unscrews like that, slack it off, lift the turret up, and to set it to 0. I did find that the actual connection between the turret spindle inside and the inside of the drum, the splines, was a little bit stiff to go back in. I think alignment's the issue there, and you've got to ease it in, then it goes in fine, but just be aware of that. It's not a problem, it's just something you need to be aware of. And when you do split, 0 in the middle and either way, so it's easy to dial in. On the left of the saddle is a rheostat, typical drum type, with the usual coin type battery inside. 5 levels of illumination with turn off points, which you can see is that dot between the numbers. Illumination levels are pretty good actually, and with 5 it illuminates very well. What I did find, because the reticle is in the first focal plane, which when screwed down to minimum magnification does give you a very small pattern, and you can see the cross but you can't really see the pattern. But when you turn the illumination on, it actually crisps up what you see, so you can use it at this low level with illuminated. Some illumination on some of these scopes in this price bracket, you turn the illumination on and it just blows the reticle out the window. So this was a pleasing surprise indeed, very pleasing. So really, that's pretty much the scope as we see. So let's do a little bit of spec. So it's 34mm body tube, side focus, turret's tactical lockable. Click values are 1/10 of a mil, which is nice, and you get 60 clicks per turn, reasonably generous. And turret rotations in elevation is 3.5 turns, and windage is 3.25 turns. Weight, a surprisingly reasonable 1.64 pounds, so it looks bigger than it is with that large sunshade on, but it's not. Length is 13.2 without sunshade, again, which is pretty good. Usually I wouldn't put such a big scope on a rifle like this, certainly not a rimfire, and I was actually thinking of having a separate hunting type scope, 3 to 9 by 50, 4 to 12, whatever. But I found now with this scope that I can actually hunt with it quite nicely. Field of view at 100 yards is 27.5 to 4.6 yards. Eye relief is 90 to 100 millimeters. And Overall, it's pretty good. Price-wise, as I discovered, the original price was £419 from Short Airguns, the guys who bring it in. And but I looked on their website and the price has gone down to £319, so they've dropped £100. I imagine it's to do with COVID and trying to sell stuff, but even at £419 it's quite a bargain, and at £319 it's one heck of a bargain. Overall, no real complaints. So the reticle, a mil hash. So what you get a crucifix type cross with a full centre, which is good, and you get ½ mil subtensions. Again, which is really good. Then they go out, and then towards the end of the arms, they go out to ¼ mil, then 8 mil, which again is pretty damn good. Though mil dot is used for ranging in the army, not many people I know use mil dot for ranging in civilian shooting. With quality 2.2 ammunition like SK, you can just work your drops out purely on the reticle alone, because there's a lot of information there. As to size-wise, you can use the whole reticle up to about 13 power. Then after that, obviously, as it expands, as the first focal plane system does, you then start to lose the edges, but it's not really an issue. And if you need to dial, then you just lift the turrets up and dial. So they're quite tactile, you can see the markings, there's some positive clicks and good feedback, so again, easy to dial. To be brutally honest, there's nothing wrong with this scope at all, and as I said, it's a good price regardless if it's 419 or 319, and well worth a look. Okay, so it's Pinkmore signing off. If you need more information, as usual, call me pete.moore@aceful.co.uk. Support the site, tell your mates if you like it, share the video, and good shooting. I'll see you again soon.